Hello everyone, this is Coach Julio and hope you are well. So I'm excited to announce that this summer I will host my second online open forum discussion about racism and leadership for the health and fitness professional. The dates for this year's event will be Saturday, June 5th from 10 a.m. to 11:30 Eastern Time. To register, you can just click on the link in the description. The event is free and everyone is welcome. Now, this forum is a follow-up from last year's event where we had 7 health and fitness professionals come together from different backgrounds and share their experiences. Now, it's my firm belief that we can initiate change through conversation. So we discuss how we can be part of the solution working within our sphere of influence. Now, here are some of the questions that we had from last year's event, and we all talked about it and we left with a different perspective. So, does this sound familiar? I want to help, but I don't know how. Another statement was, I do not want to offend anyone, so I stay quiet. And then a very popular one was, I never experienced racism, but I want to help. So if these questions or these statements sound familiar, this forum's for you. Now I want to share a testimony regarding the forum, and this is from a fitness director. After today's discussion, I feel more confident discussing racism, knowing I have support and I'm not alone. Now, I've also included a couple of video clips from last year's forum, so you can get an idea of what to expect, but we want you here this year. So please click the link in the description. Don't forget to register and post your comments.
I feel like that's needed now more than ever. So anytime I'm hesitant to post or do something online, I say to myself, this is the most important thing. And you never know what you might say that might hit someone the right way and cause change. So never be afraid to do that.
And Julio, you said one thing that stood out to me. You said fear of what, saying something might do to the clientele that you have or the, how people might perceive something that you may say. And that is a big thing because, people can interpret many different ways. And I think that it can often be a fear, sometimes maybe a fear of mine, is that you want to be politically correct and not say the wrong thing. But sometimes you don't say anything at all. And that's in legal system, they call the act of omission, right? So not saying something when you should say something, and you're held responsible for that. And I started to think about that in these terms of racial inequities and how being a white person, where are my boundaries? I've never really pushed those limits. I've never really talked about these things in the face of others. You just think, oh well, it'll pass, or whatever you think, but I've never really pushed those boundaries to really find out what if I can still be politically correct and push boundaries and make mistakes along the way and apologize for mistakes when I make them, but it's all in an effort to help and do the right thing. And I think we all do have a little bit of that in us. We have empathy. We want to help folks.
I have felt that many times in my life, in the past and even in the present, where I felt some form of racism, prejudice, bias, unconscious bias, all of it, right? And the challenging part of it is, number one, you can't empirically prove it, right? But it's something. I think people need to hear it from us, that it's something that you feel. It's something that you feel, and then as a Black person or a minority, you sort of, over the years you've been living in your body, you sort of develop this finely tuned radar for it, and you feel it. And I think just being able to say something like that speaks volumes as a leader, and people on your platform, people who follow you, need to be able to hear that, and they need to be able to understand what type of person you are and what type of platform of inclusivity you're building, and what type of mindset you're building across your entire platform, so that they know what type of platform they're on. And if they're not on board with it, maybe, you have to say goodbye to some of those folks.
Yeah. I think we just have to be honest with ourselves and who our friends and family are, and would they possibly challenge us intellectually about this situation in any way? And if yes, then talk to those people. And if not, and if there won't be really any growth from it, then maybe we reach out to some other people that will really challenge us to answer these sensitive questions that could, that you risk yourself of offending people, but it has to be talked about.
Kind of powerful is my son Charlie's response to everything, because he really has no idea what's going on. He's only 6, but he sees it and people talk about it, and he asked me basically what was happening, and I just the best way I could try to explain to him that some people just aren't treated right. People aren't treated the way that they're supposed to be treated, like how you treat your friends in school, because he has such a diverse friendship, group. And, I wish we could all have more of that. That speaks volumes, but he understood, but I think that's where it starts. I think it's all about educating and re-educating us, the ones that should know better, and then educating the ones that are a clean slate. That's what I really try to set him off the right way, and to have him realize that having all these friends is fantastic, and treating people like you want to be treated is the way that we have to live.
I just want to thank you, Julio, for doing this and making this to your point, it does take courage to do this. And I think when people open up a forum and open the conversation and allow people like me that don't have that, like the same type of experience, to openly ask me questions and not feel judged for it, it makes me feel more support. So then I feel more comfortable talking to more people about it. And I think ultimately, like, that's what I was hoping to get out of this, was to have the ability to be more, not confident, but comfortable having those uncomfortable conversations without fear of like being judged for being ignorant or whatever. Because to I forget who said it. I think Brock said it. We all have our preconceived snap judgments on people. It's just something that we're all born with. And I think things like this can help to break those barriers. So I appreciate you guys taking the time to do it.
Thank you.
Now, for those of us with social media platform, we have a responsibility to lift up the voices of those who don't. With our collective efforts, we can make a positive impact in our community. So what do you think? I would love to hear from you. Please post in the comment. Click the link to learn more about this year's event, or just to ask me questions, and just register for our next forum. That's about it. Thank you so much, and I'm looking forward to seeing you soon.